checking on your live stream. You're live. That's saying we're live. Do you want to check on your Fizzone and see if we're getting anything out of that?
On the Fizzone.
YouTube right now says excellent connection. I can't even tell you what it says.
You should try that.
We should.
Bantha Podcast. I've heard of those guys.
Hey, they're pretty cool.
The history of the Darksaber live now.
Wow.
I'm not getting much of me.
Let's see what the audio connection is.
Hello.
Right. Say it again.
Hello.
Hello.
This is how I say hello.
Alright, my audio input capture may be...
Someone named Legalized Nuclear Bombs says, hello, hi guys, in our chat. I'm sorry, I just said nuclear. Oh, it's because that's how they spelled it, nuclear.
Nuclear.
I guess that is how it is, nuclear, right? Not nuclear.
Nuclear?
Isn't that how George W. Bush said it, nuclear?
Nuclear? I think so,
I feel like
yeah.
that was like his big nuclear.
Alright, I just changed the audio.
I guess that is how it is, nuclear. That's better.
That's better, yeah. So it was giving us the wrong, hi, D... Dr. D. So they are referring to you as Dr. D.
I don't know who that person is. That must be, you must be talking about my evil twin.
Evil twin. Evil. Dr. D.
Evil is his one and only name.
Oh, what was it? Evil Olive?
Evil Olive? What is Evil Olive?
So I was watching Impractical Jokers, and they were at a store, restaurant, bar, or something called Evil Olive, and they were talking about how it's a palindrome with an O in the middle. And two of them kept thinking of different words.
Right.
And then one of them was like, it's a palindrome. They're like, no, you're wrong.
No, it is.
It is.
It's like a man to plan a canal, Panama.
That too. Or race car.
A race car. Yeah, or mom.
Or mom.
Or Bob.
Well, technically, palindromes are not supposed to be just one word.
Oh, is that true?
That's the technical definition for palindrome. It has to be like multiple words that go back and forth. So
interesting. Race car.
Race car. Yeah.
I guess race car isn't one word, is it?
Not really.
Race
car. Yeah. If you say at the race, the car, there was a race at the race.
Car.
There was a race car.
But it's a race car.
But it's a race car. It's
not,
one word.
It's not a regular car.
No.
It's a race car.
So which is really funny because one of my favorite lines and how I remember palindrome is from The Simpsons when Otto wasn't allowed to drive the bus and the bus pulls up and the doors open and Bart goes, hey man, where's Otto? And it's Principal Skinner and he goes, that's a palindrome you won't be hearing for a while. I was like, that's what that word is. And I learned it from The Simpsons.
Hey man, there's Otto?
He said, hey man, where's Otto? Otto is a palindrome, O-T-T-O.
Right.
So the principal said that's a palindrome you won't be hearing for a while.
I see, because he was fired or something.
He was fired delayed, yes. So.
Oh, I forgot we haven't started the show yet.
We haven't started the show. Oh my gosh, we have a show to do.
Whoa.
All right, let's start the show. On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, we talk all about the Darksaber. Yeah. Intro music. My country feels no good to me dead.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
We put a lot of effort into those dances this time. We're clearly very enthused and a lot of energy. High energy show today for y'all, folks.
High energy show.
Oh man, how are you? It's been a while.
It has been a while. It's funny. It's the second day of summer. Yesterday was the summer solstice.
The solstice. Happy solstice to you,
Happy
Robert.
solstice to you, which means it's the longest day of the year. It was actually 25 hours long yesterday.
That's what I heard.
Yes.
13 o'clock was a hell of a time last night. It was real tough.
That extra hour was really weird.
Killed me.
And, as all of our listeners know, we record this in the beautiful state of New Jersey, which is, of course, the Garden State.
Oh, yeah.
And in summertime, it is poultrily hot. Is that a word?
Poultrily?
It is
like
now.
A turkey?
Like a turkey.
Poultry hot.
Yeah, poultry hot.
Poultry? Were you going for poultry?
What was I going for? I don't know.
I don't know.
Something
hot.
with a
It gets
P.
hot.
Very hot. Hot.
Feeling hot, hot,
which is
hot.
why I'm wearing my winter sweater because it's 60 degrees outside.
Which is great for me. I rode the bike here. It's been awesome. It's great for bike riding.
Yes.
That being said, not a beautiful couple of days in New Jersey.
No, rainy,
but, you know,
cloudy.
if you could see out the little porthole behind Rob there, you'd see gray.
You would.
It's a bit gray.
Yes.
Of a day
It's
for us.
this is the porthole to the bathroom.
That's it.
That's the only window you have.
That's it.
That's this. Too soon?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
it might be a little definitely today. Maybe
Definitely a
till
little too
tomorrow.
soon. Yeah, sorry
until
about that.
any submarine humor comes
Yes,
back into play.
Can't.
Oh,
I wonder if
boy.
the submarine at Walt Disney World has gotten a uptick or downtick,
Or a downtick, yeah.
in attendance.
I don't
yes.
know. I wouldn't be going on any submersibles anytime soon. That's just me. To be fair, I wouldn't have ever done that to begin with because I have a healthy fear of the sea, which I think everyone should have.
So not a fear of the sea, but Sherry. The last time the only time we were in Walt Disneyland.
Okay.
In California.
Yeah.
In California, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Um,
We gotta take the 204.
what is it, California?
What is it? What do they say that SNL's get? There's something they keep saying. It's gonna annoy me. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, yeah, you have to look it up. But while we were there, they still have the submarines that they no longer have in Walt Disney World in Florida. So I was like, oh my gosh, we have to go on it. Sherry got so paranoid, like she was having like a panic attack.
Really?
Inside, and they do all these things to like try and relieve your panic symptoms. Like when you sit down, you're staring out at the window, and there's air blowing up over the window, which is supposed to calm you and give you
gives you the feeling of breeze.
Breeze and air, and that you're okay. It didn't matter for Sherry. She was not happy. It was the
Yeah, I get that. I'm not big on water pressure and being in a small confined space.
Yeah.
With water and fish.
Yeah, I think it was the confined space because I don't want to ruin the Disney magic, but if you watch the submarine from atop, you notice that it never actually goes underwater.
Wow.
Yeah, they trick you.
It's Disney magic.
It's
is what
Disney
it's called.
magic. That is what it is called. So, speaking of that Disney magic, we are all about the Star Wars.
That's what this is about. We're
That's
Bantha
what
Milk
this
podcast.
is about.
It says
We
it right
are
here.
Bantha Milk
And I'm assuming
podcast.
that Rob has me flipped in the thing, so this doesn't say.
I think
Kalimat. We should have come up with a name.
with a palindrome.
That's a palindrome.
Yes.
A palindromatic name.
That would have been much better.
Palindromatic name, new band name. So, but since we are Bantha Milk.
Bantha Milk.
We actually have some Bantha Milk to make today.
We do.
Right? So let me get that stuff out.
Yes, you get that stuff out because I found and wrote a message to this Instagram person called the Sin City Bartender. I was going to say barbecue. The Sin City, that sounds delicious. Sin City Bartender. And the first thing that caught my attention was, Cinnaminson people call
real time.
Call it Sin City. So I was
They
like,
do.
oh, is this guy from Cinnaminson? That would be amazing. But it's not. He's actually from Sin City, Las Vegas, the real Sin City. So we are just real-timing, be-reeling right now. If you want to...
This is still my yesterday's Be Real, so who knows?
Oh, I just did it again. I don't know.
Same as you.
Because mine didn't go off. Only yours beeped.
Right?
But
anyway.
it says your friends haven't posted yet, so this must be today's. So anyway. So the Sin City Bartender has all kinds of really fun drinks based on different pop culture things. Simpsons, Star Wars. Whoops. That's me. I'm on his page.
What's this? Oh, is that coming out of the...
It's coming out of my phone because I'm on
Oh.
the Sin City Bartender's Instagram page. He has a whole bunch of different things. And here we go. His name is Jason, Sin City Bartender. And I sent him a message asking him if he wanted to come on our show and talk about it, and he hasn't written back to me yet. He's too famous for us.
That's all right.
That's all right. But he has Simpsons, so we're going to steal all of his drinks. And one of the drinks that we are stealing from him and using, and we will rate it as well, is called Rex on the Beach.
Huh. So this Rex on the Beach uses a drink that I had never used before.
Okay.
Is that you or me? Man, that's crazy.
That's me. Going to his reel.
And I've had rum chata before.
Okay.
But I have never had rum chata limon. Now,
Okay.
rum chata is a delightful little liqueur that basically tastes like you're drinking Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Very nice.
Now, I just had a little sip of this.
Okay.
And
I
want
saw
to,
you cheating.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to get a flavor for it. I want you to do the same. I want you to take a nice little sip. It is not a very strong beverage at all. I think you'll rather like it.
Okay. There you go. All right.
What do you think?
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
It's nice. The lemon is interesting. I think I prefer the regular rum chata.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's just like a delightful cinnamony. Like you could just sip that like next to a fire in the winter with your nice Star Wars
with my nice
sweater
Star
on.
Wars sweater on. Yes.
But I am interested to see how this mixes because today for the Rex on the Beach,
Rex on the Beach.
we are going to be using 2 ounces of coconut rum, which we have Malibu here, 1 ounce of ranchada limon, an ounce of lemon juice, 2 ounces of club soda, and a half ounce of blue curacao. He gives it an 8 out of 10. Right? It says, inspired by Star Wars, Captain Rex and the 501st are a group of elite clones who fought for the Republic during the Clone Wars. It says, shake everything with ice but the soda and curacao. Strain over ice. I don't know what that means.
So
you're supposed to add
in the
ice?
1 cup there, put ice in it, shake it up,
yeah.
and then in our cups
Also
have
have
ice in
Yeah, I
there,
thought
and
so.
then
Okay.
pour it into there
So
as well. Yes.
now strain over ice and then top with club soda and curacao. So it looks like I want to stir the rum, the limon, and the lemon juice. Right?
Okay.
So I'm just gonna use.
So Nick is our resident bartender.
Yeah. So I'm gonna use this bad boy right here. I'll
Yep.
add some ice and I'll make both of them in here.
All
That
right.
way I
Yes.
can kinda like.
Yep. And then divide them out evenly amongst
And
the
then
2 different cups
Yeah,
for us.
Here was your cup. There it is.
There's my cup's back
All
there.
right. While
still.
I'm making this, why don't you talk about like Earz-up and stuff or something like
Sure, I'll do all that. So we are on the Earz-up network. You can check them out at Earz-up with a Z hyphen podcast, or without the hyphen. He fixed it, so you can
Did he
go
really?
either way.
Good for
Yes, good for them. EarsUpPodcast.com is their main website. We have other shows on there. The Supreme Resort just did. I'm in towards the end of listening to because their shows are like 2 hours long, Nick. You complain when we get to like an hour and 15
So
minutes.
it's not that I complain; it's that I fall asleep.
You
It's-
fall
it's-
asleep. You get-
what I need
yeah.
to do is I need to stash some Red Bull here. I almost bought some Red Bull on my way here today, and then I forgot at the liquor store. So
Okay.
I decided already I need to I don't know, prime for like pregame for our things because you have an unimaginable amount of energy. But then I remember you haven't had an infant in a while.
That is
as
true.
I'm sure exhausting as your children can be. I'm really
Well,
tired.
the
it
nice
turns
thing
out.
is, once they become the age that they are now, they just spend most of their time in their room and ignore us.
Right.
So as
Right.
opposed to your daughter who wants attention all the time.
Sure does.
Daddy, pay attention to me. Me.
Sure does.
Now they're just like, leave me alone. So it's really nice that way. So Supreme Resort just did an episode on the Rose and Crown, which is the restaurant in Epcot in England, in Epcot, versus the Lamplight Lounge, which is in California Adventure. So DCA, as they call
California
it. So
is
it's over
bankrupt. In California.
So it's over there. So they have a fun show. They have another, the Supreme Resort. They also have, what's that other one that they do? Puny Pod is a great one. That's all about Marvel. So if you're as big a fan of Marvel as we are Star Wars, you should check out Puny Pod. They talk all about Marvel. And then the Supreme Resort guys also have Scraping the Vault, which is their review of the straight-to-DVD, straight-to-video sequel movies that Disney used to create before they had Disney Plus.
I'm just giving the sound effects to the people not watching at home so they
Yes.
can hear the stirring action.
The stirring.
Now
This is Nick stirring.
I've got the rum chata, the Malibu, and the lemon juice in here. It's created like a milky, frothy like substance.
It sure has.
I'm not gonna lie, it reminds me of the laxative that they serve at the end of Three Ninjas. If anyone remembers that cinematic classic from the 90s. So what I'm supposed to do now is stir. Well, it's supposed to be shaken, but we here at Bantha podcast, we keep it fancy and we
stir, not shaken.
Right, and then I'm gonna pour it. I'm gonna strain it
Somehow.
by doing this. Here's what I'll do right here.
He's got fancy.
Here, I got this. Listen,
This is what happens when you're not a real bartender.
Hey, you watch your mouth.
I'm sorry.
How dare
Or
you.
when you come to my house where I don't have right
How
bartender
dare you
stuff.
imply
That's
that
right.
I'm not a real bartender.
Oh,
All right, hold on.
I see what Nick's trying to do here. Through the microphone and the
I'm not
camera
gonna try that.
and the laptop,
Let's go right.
he's trying to, oh dear,
Over here.
this will be a mess. He's trying to use 2 different cups so that the ice cubes get caught in the one cup, but the liquid comes out in the other cup, and he's trying to get it to go into the glasses that we're drinking. It is not working at all.
I'm just gonna
It's
do
just
this.
pouring everywhere.
I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah, just do that with the ice cubes in it. That's fine because it's supposed to pour over ice cubes. There we go. Nick poured out the original stuff. We're going to have to take a commercial break after this.
We didn't even bring any.
We didn't bring any paper towels down
Paper
here. We need to get some
towels.
paper towels.
Oh, boy. All right, so the next step while Rob goes to do that. Oh, we have tissues. That's fine. It's not that big of a mess. It's only, and I didn't get any on the important electronics. All right, so we've got this frothy milkiness. Oh, this is what happens. People need to send
This
us more
is-
so we get better. We need a bigger
Yeah.
bartending budget.
We need a whole bar down here.
Oh man, that should be. Yeah, I mean, okay. All right, we just. Yeah.
Nick's like, ooh, Rob, you can build a whole bar down
that's
here.
exactly what my thought was. Rob can now build something. All right, so now I'm supposed to top it with the club soda and the curacao, right? So
Right.
2 ounces and then half an ounce. So I'm assuming that the curacao is more like a color like effect, right? So I'm gonna
Yes.
pour a little bit of this first.
Pour a little of the
Pour
club
this
soda
here.
first. I can't. We have
This
another
here.
person chatting. Caracal said Cinnamon Toast Crunch liquid earlier, and then they just said it's funny. They have the same icon as legalized nuclear bombs does.
Interesting. how
That's
that
very
works.
interesting.
We
Now they
lost my
said you
video
could
feed.
do cool tricks. I think with all of their referring to your pouring of the liquid that you could do cool tricks.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm
Yeah.
not that guy.
You're not that cool
Um,
yet. And they just said, I am the same person.
Shocking. All right, so now we top with blue curacao. So this is what we got, right? This frothy blue, delightful. Now half a shot of this should finish us off.
Right.
I'm gonna put that on video so we can kind of see that happen. right?
Okay.
'Cause then
And
why not?
Nightingale Art says that they want you to do some cool tricks with the cups and the glass. So you got to throw it over your shoulder, like, yeah, there you go. Except the microphone's way. No, okay, you got it now.
All right.
There we
so
go.
We're gonna pour over. Let's see how this looks in the camera.
Oh, because that's what that. Yes, because the.
Oh, look at that.
Very
look at that
cool.
color
It's
change.
like blue is like
Permeating.
down into the white
I like
milky part. Yeah, very
All right.
cool.
A little bit of that. There we go. All right,
There we
Rob, I'm
go.
gonna send this your way.
All right.
Put that right there. All right. Get myself curacao up. Okie dokie. So you should send us more of these, so
Yes.
that we can
Well, except they didn't send us. We found. Oh, it says looks very pearly.
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 Yes,
it's very nice.
like Pearl, Mr. Krabs' daughter, who happens
Yeah.
to be a whale. Hey,
That's
let's
right.
See. Here we go.
And he's a crab and she's a whale. Oh, yours is better.
You think?
The second
Oh.
time through, it is getting. I like the way it's definitely getting nice and bluer as it goes all the way down.
Yeah, and you can let it. Like I don't even want to drink it. It looks so pretty.
No,
but we
it does look so pretty.
should- What happens if I just give it a little shaky wakey?
Shaky shake.
Shake and bake. All right, hear that, y'all?
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe next time I could do the shake and you could do the bake, but then how would I win? Well, but I
Ricky
would've
Bobby,
won
don't
once.
you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. All right.
Don't forget the cheers. They said yes.
Cheers,
Cheers.
mon frere.
Cheers.
To many blue dreams.
Blue
of heaven.
dreams of drinks. Yes.
That's not bad.
I like it.
That's rather refreshing, actually. Let me get another.
It is rather refreshing. I like it. Like the coconut in there, the blue stuff in there.
Yeah, the coconut mixed with I forgot about the coconut, but the coconut mixed with the lemon, it's really refreshing.
It is. And by moving your computer, the plug came undone for the camera. Oh, it's back.
I left and came back, so we should be all set.
Okay,
with
we're good now. All right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I would.
So,
I would
to-
drink this again.
Would you turn it into an ice cream though?
An ice cream.
If the alcohol would freeze.
What is that? What someone asked?
Yeah, someone just asked, would you turn it into an ice cream though?
I could. I could see this as a nice frozen treat for the
Almost
for the
like
summer season.
I know you're not a big you haven't been to Disney in a long time.
It's been a minute.
The like the Dole Whip because of the coconut that I'm tasting.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be like a good going along with the Dole Whip drink.
What's a Dole Whip?
Pineapple ice cream with like pineapple juice and stuff. It's very delicious.
I'm liking this more and more.
Yeah, you get it by the Tiki Room. This would be perfect for it. If we had tiki glasses, it would be even better.
Next time.
But yes, so the Rex on the Beach, thanks to our good friend Jason at
The Sin
the
City
City Bartender.
Oh, yeah.
So if he actually sent this to us, we could thank him for it. But since he didn't and won't talk to us, we're just going to say mean things about him. We're just going to keep making a lot of his drinks because he has a lot of different Star Wars themed drinks. So we're going to do a whole bunch of different Star Wars themed drinks from my man Jason in Sin City Bartender. So thank you very much. All right, that's our drinks. Let's take a quick break now, and then we'll come back. I have a little bit of news, and then we can get into our good main topic, the Darksaber, and some people who are Mandalorians as well. So we will be right back after this commercial break.
Star Wars News.
Bam. There we go.
It always reminds me of like driving home from New York when I was like 8 years old in the backseat of my dad's Toyota Corolla on the Garden State Parkway for 2 hours listening to Rush Limbaugh. like I have distinct memories of AM radio when I was a kid
sounding
on my
like
way
that.
home, and just like that, boom, and then just like, time for the news and the weather.
And now the news on the sevens.
Exactly, 7s, 9s, and 11s.
Speaking of the Garden State Parkway, you
Aye.
may have been just slightly too young for this, but I never went there. Was all the way up in Vernon. Did you go to Action Park ever?
I did not, but I have heard of Action Park.
Okay.
Action Park.
They did a documentary on it years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, called Class Action Park.
It was very dangerous, right?
It was extremely dangerous.
I think Pagan watched that documentary.
Yeah, so I watched it years ago when it came out the first time. I forget what it was on, but it was just on Discovery Channel again, so I recorded it and watched it again. And Sherry came downstairs. She's like, why are you watching this? This is like the 100th time you've watched it. I'm like, no, it's only like the second. But I was watching it because it just reminded me of my youth. Even though I never went to Class Action Park, just everything that they talked about. Like two kids who lived nearby, how they just one day they just got on their bikes and they rode there. They spent the whole day at the park and then they rode their bikes home and their parents never knew anything about it. Yep. Nowadays, like if my kid's not home for 5 minutes, I'm checking find my kid. You know, and
you got the Apple tag sewed into their backpacks.
So, yeah,
and stuff.
You know, so it's like I know where my kid is at all times. Where it gets you. You didn't. When did you get your first cell phone?
I was in high school when I got my first cell phone.
Okay, so you had a lot of freedom all the way up until then as well.
And I lived on LBI, so like. Especially in the winter, like there was no one there. Right. I would just get on my bike and I could be anywhere on the island.
Anywhere
18
on the
miles up and down. You know, I was pretty much anywhere. But like, you know, I'd be home by a certain time. I'm old enough that I can still remember like hearing my mom scream my name to tell me to come home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at the front door.
That was the same thing at 5 o'clock. I would always hear Bobby Ritchie from. Yeah, that was my name as a kid. And
I keep telling Pagan that you were Bob for a while, and she's like, no. And why is he not? I think just because he's not. Someone called him Rob.
Yeah, someone, and I said, "Oh, I like that."
She's like, he just assumed this new identity.
A whole new identity. I was just suddenly this new person, Rob. So yeah, and it was like they talked about how as a kid, 8 o'clock, just as long as you're home by 8 o'clock, it doesn't matter when the street lights come on, you're home.
Yep.
And your parents didn't know anything. They didn't care. So it was.
It's funny though because I'm more and more I'm watching TikTok videos anymore, which is like annoying, but like Reddit is like there's this whole blackout on Reddit going on, and I just get bored of watching the same thing. Anyway, on TikTok, I'm seeing all sorts of stuff about like your generation, Gen X,
yes,
the lost generation,
and talking
essentially about how like yeah, our parents didn't care about our mental health and well-being. They didn't like, and it's like, yeah, that they didn't though.
No,
You're right.
no.
That's
There
like
was-
they 100, and one of them was like, yeah, they were too busy dealing with the PTSD from the Vietnam War and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, like, and it not the millennial, like older millennial as much as Gen X, but like I feel like when cell phones
Right.
were like a thing. And like internet was a thing. That's when all that really changed.
Yeah.
But like I'm at least old enough where I remember when we got a computer.
Yeah.
When we got internet.
Yeah. I remember I did a report in 10th grade, and I forget, I wrote something down, and my dad was like, yeah, that doesn't sound right. I'm like, no, that's what it said in the encyclopedia that was at the library. He goes, no.
Go Britannica it.
Yeah, and so I was like, take me back to the library because I know that's what it says. It doesn't make sense, but I know.
You couldn't
So
prove him wrong instantaneously. You had to go.
I had to go to the library. So he drove me all the way back to the library. I opened it up. Sure enough, I was wrong. And that was that. But like nowadays, the kids do that in
They
5
tell
seconds.
Siri to do it.
Siri does it for
Yeah,
you.
or
yeah.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT does
Yeah.
it for you, yes. All right, so some news.
News.
Not based off of class action lawsuit,
Bummer.
but
The Star Wars submersible now in no.
ooh,
no,
a little too early.
no.
Now, and, what's the hotel at?
Now at
Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
So speaking of Galaxy's Edge, they have 2 new things for Star Wars fans.
Hooray! Some
Yes, 2
more
new
stuff I'll
things
never
to
get
buy.
see.
Yes, 2 new Disney souvenirs are must-haves for a visit to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Here we
This is
go.
from All Ears, which right away you know that it's just like
All
clickbait.
Ears. Oh,
but
yeah.
anyway, there's a new backpack that says Star Wars on it, and it has 2 lightsabers. It's cute.
Like it has 2 lightsabers built in that you can
No,
use
like
to kill
sewn
people. Or?
onto the flap that says Star Wars.
Oh,
It's just a
so
brown.
let me guess, $120.
Does it even say? It's got fun retro lightsabers printed on the flap, and it comes with a tiny Darth Vader keychain. Very 90s indeed. Of course, the website doesn't tell you how much these 2 things
That's how
are.
they get you.
And then the other one is the Ezra Bridger's Legacy lightsaber.
Ooh, is it like the blaster one?
No. I
That
wish
would be
they had
rad.
the blaster one. Yeah, that would be rad. It's the one in the last season when he
Right.
didn't have the blaster
Which
anymore.
is like just a
It
generic
looks
lightsaber,
very
right?
close to Luke Skywalker's
Yeah.
lightsaber. It's
So, yeah.
so whatever. But that's now theirs. You can get that. So that's the first silly news that I found. Now,
Do they have a Dooku lightsaber? I wonder. Like I'm trying to think if they have
They
actual like.
do.
I only have the one. I gotta get on it.
Well,
just
we're
have the
going
Leia
back
one.
this summer.
Oh, okay. Well,
Lightsabers at Galaxy's Edge. So we are going back. So if you want me to pick up another lightsaber for you, I will do that.
last time they didn't have the Ahsoka ones.
No. Price, the Legacy lightsabers. Okay, so at the beginning of this article, most prized possessions, Jedi and Sith, Darth Vader, Mace Windu, Luke Skywalker, and more. Okay, update, Cal Kestis lightsaber.
Okay, so that one's pretty interesting looking.
Um,
Ugh, God, I want to play that game so bad.
yeah, I know you do. It doesn't say Ahsoka's lightsaber, Ahsoka dual lightsabers, Obi-Wan Kenobi's, a Legacy box set of Obi-Wan Kenobi Legacy lightsabers, 3 different Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsabers
Huh.
in one giant box. Costs at $592
Sure, why not?
and is a limited edition of 3,000 units produced. Because I want to spend $600 on lightsabers. Anakin Obi-Wan battle. So they have a bunch of them. I think they have the one that you were asking about.
Dooku.
Dooku, yes. I think they did.
I'm just trying to think of ones that are like unique and like because like Dooku's is like a curved hilt
Yeah.
and like Ahsoka's had a different style to it and even like Cal Kestis I think his had like a different sort of style to it too. So I'm just wondering because like I don't know the blaster one would be so cool, but like the other Ezra one just kind of seems like, oh, it's a reskin of one they already had in production.
It's
you
very
know?
close
Like,
to it, yeah. Yeah, I would have rather have the blaster one. That would have been really cool if they had the blaster lightsaber one. All right.
oh, well.
Did you know, Nick, that all the Disney movies are all changing release dates?
I had
including the 3 Star Wars movies that
I
are
had
coming
heard that
out.
there was pushed back.
Yes. So here's the deal. Among the highlights of the overhaul is the live-action Moana will be
Great, 'cause
released
all the live
on
actions have gone so well.
They've all gone so well. June 27th, 2025. So apparently for the Moana one, I heard that The Rock
Is going to be
came to Disney and said we need to do this because his last movie that he did was such a bleh that he's like, I need something good. So everybody loved the first Moana, so I'll do it again in live action form.
But what was the last movie he did? I can't even remember.
It was some I don't even know. I don't even want to know.
Jungle Cruise?
No,
Is it
that one was okay,
I
but
heard
it
that
was like a non-Disney movie that didn't go over very well. I think it was before the Race Car X movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Rock.
Black Adam.
Black Adam,
Thank
yes.
You. Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
to carackle in our
There we
live
go.
chat.
Yes,
Yep,
thank
Black
you.
Adam.
Yeah, Black Adam wasn't a big
I had heard
success.
that was not so bueno.
Yeah. I didn't mind it, but it was just like, okay.
Generic.
It was very generic,
Yeah.
yeah. I did see the latest Flash movie,
Yeah.
which I liked.
Yeah.
I thought it
It's
was
a shame he's such a weirdo.
Yeah, he totally went nuts afterwards, and it was supposed to come. The weird thing about it was because it was supposed to come out a while ago before he went nuts, and now
Right.
they're like shelved it until like people forgot about it. But like the Batman's in it because he goes back in time and forward in time and
Right.
different things like that, and he changes time. So the first Batman that you meet is
Is it Michael Keaton? Is that the one that
Michael
Keaton's
Keaton's in it.
Okay, and that's
but
out now? 'Cause I
That's
wanna
out
check
now.
it out.
Yes, it's good. But the first one that you meet is not Michael Keaton, but it's Ben Affleck.
Okay.
Which, since Ben Affleck, there was another Batman movie with the vampire guy, Robert Pattinson, in it. So it was kind of weird that they completely forgot all about Robert Pattinson, but it's because they filmed it before the Robert Pattinson, easy for you to say.
And I think that they specifically did that one like out of the DC universe. Like that one they tried to like avoid any of that. So
Yeah, but there was a lot of cameos. There was a lot of DC cameos in it.
Right.
So I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. So I would definitely recommend go seeing it, even though the Flash kid now went nuts.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Deadpool 3 has now moved up from November 8th, 2024 to May 3rd, 2024.
Oh,
So they moved that earlier.
sure.
Untitled Star Wars movie is debuting on December 18th, 2026.
That one sounds awesome.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that one's going to be amazing.
So good. I mean,
I like that
saw-
they're not teasing too much. You know, they're not giving away a whole lot of the plot info. I hate that's my least favorite thing about movie theaters. Is they
when they give
the whole
everything
plot.
away. Yeah, when
Just
you,
enough to keep you interested here.
I remember seeing the 2.5-minute trailer for Free Willy 2, which told you the entire storyline of what happens in an
Guess
hour and a
what?
half.
It's the same as Free Willy 1.
Yeah, it was so bad. But anyway, so Star
With
Wars
more
is,
Michael Jackson.
is debuting on December 18th, 2026. Avatar 3 has shifted to December 19th, 2025.
I still haven't even seen the second Avatar.
It was good.
I was not a fan of the first one.
I
It was
loved the
fine.
first one.
It was just so long.
And the second one was long as well. And they already filmed the third one. They filmed them
they filmed
together.
it at the same time, yeah.
And Avatar 4 is now December 21st, 2029.
Jesus.
Yeah, they already have the date.
It's 2023 right now. Let's check in a couple of years. No way it's releasing on that date.
Well, then
Not a
Avatar
chance.
5 will be released on December 19th, 2031.
No.
I'm getting tickets
won't.
now. I'm
No,
getting
it
tickets
won't.
right now.
I'm gonna call the this Regal Cinemax or whatever.
It'll be a different
excuse
name
me,
by
sir.
then. Yes.
I would like to reserve some tickets for next decade.
For Avatar 5 in 2031. The final Avatar movie is coming out 22 years after the original 2009 movie, if it comes out on that date.
Which it won't.
Other changes, Marvel reshuffling Captain America, Brave New World is moving from May 3rd to July 26th, 2024, which is then delaying Thunderbolts to December 20th, Blade to February.
Blade. Is it like the same Blade, or are they
It
they're
just
bringing back
says
Wesley Snipes?
Blade
or?
in quotes. It's probably going to be a CGI Wesley Snipes. I don't know.
Apparently, Blade is like what really like sent the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like that's like the first thing that like.
Yeah, like the Michael Keaton Batman is what started superhero
Right.
movies.
Like,
But the Blade
kickstarted
one
it,
is
yeah.
what really like set Marvel in action. Yeah. And it wasn't even under the Marvel. It was like Sony or whatever.
Remember the old movie with Billy Zane, Spawn?
Yes.
Oh, I loved that as a kid.
Yeah. And do you remember the I mean, it wasn't. It was a little bit before it, but who was the motorcycle guy that his head was a flaming skull?
Nicolas Cage played
Nicolas
him.
Cage played him. Yeah. Was it Hellraiser? Or something like that? Hellrider or
yeah, that's gonna
something, whatever. But anyway, that was a good one too.
Blank Man is still my favorite superhero movie of all time. You remember Blank Man?
Yeah, I love
with Marlon Wayans.
And his was that the one that his mask was changing patterns?
No,
and
that's
stuff?
the Rorschach guy. That's from that's the Watchmen.
Oh, the
Blank
Watchmen.
Man is like from the '90s, where he's like a ridiculous superhero. I think it's Marlon Wayans.
Was it kind of like what was the one with the bowler? There was another like they were like dumb superheroes.
It was dumb superheroes for sure.
Yeah,
I don't remember a bowler though.
One of them, his name was the Bowler. My friend Rick and Josh in high school, they would write all of these dumb comics with just stupid superheroes. And then when that movie came out with the Bowler,
Mystery Men.
When Mystery Men came out, I remember Rick saying to Josh, "Dude, they stole our idea." And I was like, "Yeah, but they actually like went through with it, where you had an idea but never did anything with it."
So that was 1999. It was actually Damon Wayans, Blank Man.
Damon Wayans was Blank Man.
1994. After his grandmother is killed in a mafia hit, Daryl fashions a bulletproof overcoat to wear over red long johns, becoming Blank Man. A superhero without any superpowers, saves some inventive tinkering skills.
There you go.
Yeah, that was a hell of a movie.
It's like poor man's Batman.
It's got 12% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, you got to watch
It's one
that.
of those cult classics.
Cult classics, yes. It's almost like what was Shaq's movie?
Oh, Shazam or
Shazam,
Was it
Kazam, yeah.
I always mix it up, but
Yeah.
I actually liked that movie a lot. I was a
That's so
kid then.
funny. You were a kid then, so you.
It was
Well,
Shaq.
that was like, Dude, Where's My Car? I think is the worst movie of all time.
For sure.
I love telling. We used to do like a thing with we would like sort movies in like a Google Sheets in my class, and I used to tell the kids, you can't use this movie because the movie has to be at least 90 minutes long. And Dude, Where's My Car comes in with credits at like 86 minutes.
Yep.
I was like, it's not even a full movie.
I just remember, like, because I was in high school when that movie came out. I remember it distinctly because it was like this weird thing where they like couldn't find their car, and then all of a sudden there were aliens and like a giant woman in a bikini.
Yeah,
like,
they were abducted
terrorizing
by
the
girls
city.
in a van, and
Yeah.
then it was just ridiculous.
And then at one point, I remember very specifically because the MacGuffin they were looking for was the continuum transfunctioner. I don't even remember this. The stuff that's in my head. And the aliens say, "I will now use the power of the continuum transfunctioner to banish you to Hoboken, New Jersey." That's something that's very specifically stuck out in my head.
That is so funny.
Continuum transfunction. I don't remember like important stuff.
No,
but I remember
like,
the
I don't-
MacGuffin from Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah, you don't know what your checking account number is, but you know that whole sentence from the worst movie of all time.
All time.
Okay, so Thunderbolts Blade to February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2025. It's a good Valentine's
Sorry,
Day.
I'm just thinking about the scene where they get the tattoos. Do you remember what they are?
What does mine say?
Dude, put them
what
on mine. Sweet.
No, but what does mine say? Dude.
It really was the worst movie.
It was the worst. Yes.
Oh my god.
And it was, like I said, it was 86 minutes long, and 10 of it was them saying "dude" and "sweet" back and forth. Yeah. Fantastic Four to May 5th. The Avengers Kang Dynasty is getting pushed back an entire year from May 2nd,
it was
2025.
Ghost Rider, by the way.
Ghost Rider.
Thank
That's
you.
what it was.
Yeah.
Yes. To May 1st, 2026. It's taking place at the Avengers Secret War, which is jumping from May 1st, 2026 to May 7th, 2027. And then there's another Star Wars film in December 2026. It means that 2 movies set in a galaxy far, far away will be released in that year. A separate Star Wars movie has been pushed from December 19th, 2025 to May 22, 2026. So in 2026, we will have 2 Star Wars movies, both untitled. And then in December 17th, 2027, we'll have a 3rd untitled Star Wars movie.
We'll see.
We'll see.
It's been a while since we've gotten a Star Wars movie.
It has been a while. So that's why I'm very excited that they're actually saying that they're going to make Star Wars movies. That guy, the Wolf guy, who we're big fans of, who writes all the Star Wars TV shows. That guy. He's supposedly directing one of those 3 movies. So at least that one should be a good one.
Yeah.
So that's a Star Wars movies. Speaking of that, real fast, before I ask you some questions of these different polls that websites have put out, have you heard of the channel? I was going to say Spike, but it's not Spike. Vice.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that Vice in 2022 had a 6-part documentary about Star Wars?
I did not.
Original 6 movies.
No.
Oh my God! It was the most amazing thing ever. Somehow it showed up on Netflix for like one day for free. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it showed up on my Netflix feed. I started watching it.
I don't have Netflix anymore because they started enforcing that.
The password and all that other good stuff. We still do. So I would share with you, but they probably
would not let me.
They would not let you do it anymore.
You're not in the same house.
Yeah. So it showed up for one day. I put it on as I was going to sleep. I fell asleep, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And then I tried to watch it again, and then I was like, you have to pay for it. So then I found it on, we have Comcast still, but it's on Comcast. If you can get Vice somewhere, whatever your cable provider is, if you have a cable provider, if you can get Vice and you can watch it on Vice, it's free if you have Vice or whatever. So good.
Yeah.
It's like not the dark side of Star Wars, but it's like the real making of Star Wars. It's not the Disney version where, oh, the Ewoks are great and this and that and everybody was happy and blah, blah, blah. It was like, no, people weren't happy.
Right.
George Lucas making the first one, directing it, put so much pressure on himself that he had to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
He had like panic attacks. He wasn't sleeping and all this stuff. That's why he refused to direct the second one, because it made him so sick.
Right.
He wrote the second one. He had other people help him. George Lucas's wife gave the Star Wars, according to this documentary, gave Star Wars the heart and the soul that the first 3 movies have. So if you like all the good scenes, she was an editor. She went back and re-edited things and recut things and added extra depth to it and added extra tension and all this stuff and made it really like amazing. Before she re-edited it, they said like people watched the editor's cuts, the director's cuts, and they were like, yeah, this is good. But then she re-edited, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing.
So how long is each one?
So each one's like an hour, and there's 6 episodes. The first 2 episodes are all about A New Hope. Then third one is about Empire, and they talk about was it Kirshner? Was the director of the second of Empire? I want to say Kirshner was his name. I could be wrong. Don't hate me. But George Lucas was then mad because his directorial style really came out, and people loved it.
Right.
And George hated it because they were like, oh, well, they just love him. They don't love Star Wars. They love the way he did it. But even with that, at the end of Empire, a lot of people were like, that's the ending?
Right.
Like, how can that's not happy, fun Star Wars. This is very down and a bleak ending. So then they were like, well, we have to do Return of the Jedi now. And then they did Return of the Jedi. And then everybody was then happy, like, oh, yay, the good guys win and stuff. But every single one of those movies, George's wife went back and re-edited them and made them so much better. She did one interview in like 1977 and didn't do another interview until she did the interview for this.
Yeah.
And the director, there was a clip where he was talking to some other podcast or some YouTube show or whatever, and he was like, we sat down with a 6-hour interview with her, and from the time I was a kid until now in 2021, when I guess they filmed it all because it came out in 2022, he's like, I was a big Star Wars fan, and I would like try and do research and stuff. He's like, I would find like one thing every year, something new about Star Wars. He's like, listen to her interview. Every 5 minutes, she was dropping another bomb on us. And he's like, I didn't even hear what she said for 5 minutes at a time because I was like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe
processing.
Yeah, like processing what you just said 5 minutes ago.
Right.
And then here's another one. Bam. And here's another one. Bam. It's so good. So I'm trying to get – I want to get Marcia Lucas is his first wife.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah, I'll check
oh
it out.
my God.
Vice. Yeah.
It's on Vice. It's 6 episodes. It goes from 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, and 3 also. And if you 1, 2, and 3, they talk about a lot about how he really wanted to do all CGI.
Right.
And the actors were like a little bit more confused and whatever. And I mean, we've talked about it. It doesn't have the same feel that 1, 2, and 3 have.
Sure.
But George was so determined to do it, and he didn't have Marcia editing 1, 2, and 3 at
Right.
that point. And you can definitely see a difference between the movies. And also, I mean, just with all the CGI stuff, because he was so enamored by the CGI, he was also building Lucasfilm Ranch.
Right. Skywalker Ranch.
Skywalker Ranch all at the same time. So it's amazing. I watched all 6 episodes. It's so good. I highly recommend it. I wish I would have seen it a year ago when it first came out, but for whatever reason, I wasn't paying attention to Vice.
And I learned about it today.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So definitely watch it. It's a whole new level of Star Wars knowledge that you never had. Like, you hear the little things about how Kenny Baker and R2-D2 and C-3PO, how they hated each other,
Right.
whatever. They talk about that a little bit. One of the things that they were saying was Kenny Baker couldn't hear anything inside the R2-D2 suit. So while what's C-3PO's real name?
Anthony Daniels.
Anthony Daniels is trying to talk to him. He couldn't hear him. Anthony Daniels couldn't hear him. So they just never talked on set. And that was one of the things that started to, like, cause their rift, is they were, like, mad at each other because they couldn't hear what each other was saying, whatever. But there's so much in it. It's so, like, you need to watch it 2 or 3 times as a real Star Wars fan.
Sure.
To get everything. Because, like the guy said, even the way they edited and put it together, you're every 5 minutes you're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it was so amazing. So, highly recommend that. Check that out, and that's my rant on that. So,
Love it.
Screen Rant's website, 10 Ways Star Wars Outlaws. Did you hear about this new game that's coming out?
It looks pretty interesting.
It looks very interesting. 10 Ways Star Wars Outlaws is already better than Jedi Survivor.
Okay.
And I mean, you can't even play Outlaws yet, and we can't play Survivor because we don't have a PS5. All right, number 10, space travel looks more immersive. And I like some of these are like what you've seen in the previews
Right.
for it.
Yeah, because
know?
all we've gotten is a very small glimpse at what
Of what Outlaws
Yeah,
will
you know,
be,
yeah.
I'm just going to go through
That
the
being said, in
headlines.
Survivor, space travel wasn't supposed to be immersive. It was supposed to be your fast travel from one planet to another.
Right.
You know,
So-
I think in Outlaw they're specifically going for space travel being like a thing that you can do.
So, and they also say, like, Outlaw is going to be the first
Open world
game.
but it isn't.
Star Wars Galaxies was an open world game. What's
yeah,
the other one?
Star
that you-
Wars: The Old Republic.
The
was
Old
an
Republic
was an open world
game.
I think, I don't know, maybe because they were MMORPGs,
Right.
and like MMOs are by virtue open world, I guess, but not like I guess what they mean. Like most video games have like there's a path, and
There's
you
a
have to
path.
travel this path.
Yeah.
But like Star Wars Fallen Order was kind of open world.
Right. And they
But
even
it-
said in this that, like, Jedi Survivor is kind of open world. You can veer off of the path a little bit, but not very far and go
Yeah,
anywhere.
It's certainly not as open world as like Elden Ring or like Zelda has been the Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. It's certainly not as open world as that.
Yeah.
But like,
So-
you know, the Old Republic and Galaxies were open open world as it gets.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know, like,
you could just stand in Star Wars Galaxies
and dance
and dance.
and that's your whole thing.
That's your whole thing. You just stand there and dance
And
for
then talk to
hours on
people.
end and talk to
And
people.
they do.
And they did. And they did. And they loved it. And
Yeah.
people loved it. All right, so space travel looks more immersive as 10. Number 9, Nyx is way cuter than BD1. So Nyx is
the
apparently
droid, I guess.
he's like a little, I was going to say a puppet, a little creature, animal, your sidekick.
Okay.
Number 8, the Wanted system. So this is incorporating an interesting feature straight out of Grand Theft Auto.
right? Yeah.
Star Wars Outlaws will have a Wanted system that tracks the player's nefarious deeds across the galaxy. I was actually thinking about this. I'm reading, the Bounty Hunter books, and towards the end of the second book, the third book's title is Hard Merchandise.
Okay.
Which is what they call when you get a bounty of a person who doesn't want to cooperate or
Right.
avoid that they're hard merchandise. In the second book, they say the words hard merchandise 3 dozen times.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I get it.
get
The
it,
third
yeah.
book is hard I get it already. Oh my God, you're killing me with this. But yeah, so I just seeing this, it just reminded me of that. Jedi Cal's status as a living Jedi makes him an outlaw in his own right. It would never have worked due to the gamer's linear structure and closed-off areas. So the wanted area is going to be...
yeah, so again, back to like the type, I guess, because you're right, there are spots in the game that are inaccessible until later in the game, but that's more because Survivor and Fallen Order are Metroidvania class style games, you know, like where you're supposed to like see something you can't do and then come back later when you've unlocked a skill that you can do
that
it.
you can do it then? Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, go on.
Anyway, and that's what I was getting with the wanted system. Like, bounty hunters are awesome in Star Wars, but in real life, they would be like motorcycle gangs.
Yeah.
Like, they're
like
not...
Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, like Dog. Like, they're not people that you would really want to hang out with, but in Star Wars, you'd, like, want to find out more about them.
Yeah.
You know, like the Mandalorian, like Din Djarin, you're like, oh my god, he's so cool. But he's like, he would be like the leader of a biker gang in real life, and you know, world in our world.
Yeah.
No more tired good versus evil Jedi stories.
Yeah, I think we've been talking a little bit about the desire for less black and white, good evil sort of stuff.
Yeah. Number 6, the morality system and player choice. Star Wars Outlaws will borrow from another Rockstar series, Red Dead Redemption. Did you play that?
That was my COVID game.
Okay.
Red Dead Redemption 2 was like, I got it as soon as COVID hit, and like, I buried so many hours in that. I like lived in that game for a while.
It's a good game.
It's
and
amazing.
Like when you play that much in that short period of time, like you just start thinking that way the whole time. Like, yeah.
And it was just like, it's the sort of game. It's one of the best games ever made, I think, Red Dead Redemption 2. And I've told a couple people to play it, and they haven't liked it because you really have to you can do anything in that game. Like there's so much, like the interaction between people. You can rob people. You can like, as terrible as it sounds, I would like tie people up and like just leave them somewhere. Like, see you later, dude.
See you later,
like,
dude.
It's just silly stuff. Like you go hunting, you go fishing. Like there's you have to eat. Like there's all sorts of stuff. And like for peak COVID, like that was like March 2020, I was just like, oh my god, this is everything.
Yeah, you could spend like hours just hunting bears.
Yep.
You know, and then like, oh, I'll go back to the main storyline now.
Yep.
Oh, I don't want to do the main storyline now. I'll go over here and I'll set up a little camp over here and I'll try and rob people as they will go by me or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we get a little bit of that in this game.
I hope so too. Player freedom is number 5. There's a little bit of freedom to Star Wars Jedi Survivor, but the game is essentially linear. Players have some choice in terms of which planets they want to visit first, but there's only a handful of them. And in the first true open world Star Wars game, meaning the players will probably be able to travel wherever in the galaxy they want, whenever they want. It's an ambitious concept, and if executed right, will make Outlaws extremely immersive. Number 4, stealth. Jedi Survivor didn't have a stealth system, although it did reward players for surprise attacks. Cal frequently finds himself sneaking around groups of stormtroopers, so some kind of stealth stance would have made sense.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, a stealth stance would have been good. I haven't played Survivor, so I don't know what improvements they made on Fallen Order. But
number 3, more populated cities. Jedi Survivor has beautifully designed environments, surpassing Fallen Order in terms of their scale and branching paths. However, much of the game still takes place in barren ruins.
I get this one. One of my least favorite things about video games, one of my favorite things I should say about video games is NPCs. Like when a place feels like alive and like you can interact with people and make choices that affect things. Like, have you ever played Mass Effect?
No.
So the Mass Effect games are amazing. They're RPG games, and it's like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
Right, where not the Old Republic, which was the MMO version, but the one with Revan.
Right.
Where, again, you'd go to a place and there's all these NPCs around, and some of them are just there to say, hey, what are you doing? Go away.
Go away.
But others, like, you can interact with, and they have interesting dialogue, and like you can talk to them and you might see them later. And I was really hoping for that in Jedi Survivor, or Jedi Fallen Order, I should say. And in most games I play anymore, like Elden Ring, for example, that's one of my biggest complaints about, is that like there are some NPCs, but like I want to go somewhere and have like people drinking at the bar. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Red Dead Redemption had. They had people who would be at the bar, and sometimes they'd be drunk, and sometimes they'd pick a fight with you. You know what I mean? That interaction and that sort of level of like immersion. So I get that one a lot.
Yeah. All right, number 2, space combat. A feature central to many Star Wars video games adaptation is that of space combat. And then I guess in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, unfortunately, the player doesn't do any spaceship piloting, let alone fighting in Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Right.
Star Wars Outlaws, however, will have feature space combat centers around Kay's signature ship, the Trailblazer. And then number 1, Kay's speeder. The main character's name is Kay, by the way.
I figured as much.
Yeah. She has a speeder bike. It's kind of like a motorcycle,
Vroom vroom.
but it's floats instead of has tires.
Hey man, every time I'm
And-
on that bad boy outside, I'm thinking, all right, this ain't a bike. I'm on Endor right now.
You're on Endor. You're on your own speeder.
I'm thinking
bike.
of like what I would think is like a 9-year-old.
Uh-huh.
Like if I'm gonna have a motorcycle. Yeah, it's great, man. It's
That's look. That's
nailing into people.
yep.
When I'm playing that swoop gang level of Shadows of the Empire.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. So
me
the
on
number
295.
one for them is that the speeder will actually get you around places where with Jedi Survivor you do a lot of just regular running.
Yeah. So Destiny is a game that I played a lot. Me and Bill actually played an awful lot of it. We've been very sad for years because we feel like if they would just do the exact game Destiny, but do it Star Wars, it would be the best game ever. Because Destiny was this great space combat. It was made by the same people who made Halo, Bungie.
Okay.
And it was a first-person shooter, and it had awesome gun mechanics. Like the feel was just amazing, and the movement was amazing. And they had classes, like a warlock class. So like you had powers. So essentially, it like could have, if Star Wars just took exactly that and did that, it would be amazing. And one of the big things they had in Destiny was when you get to a world, you had what was essentially a speeder bike.
Okay.
And it was a great way of getting around each planet. So yeah, I could get down. I could get down with that.
There you go. Crackle
A sparrow.
is
I think it was called a sparrow.
okay. Crackle's commenting a lot, so you want to they're talking to you as a lot. That happens in BOTW and
Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
yeah. So and then you see your bike is amazing.
It
so
is.
Whatever. All right. So that was that. Now, this is a fun one from the Hollywood Reporter. Star Wars 20 memorable quotes from the iconic films. So you tell me a quote, and I'll tell you if it's in the top 20.
Okay, go on.
You're going to tell me a Star Wars quote.
And you want me to do
And you tell me the quote, and I'll tell you if it's in the top 20. So think of any quote that they have.
I am your father.
I am your father. Yes, is in here. It is number 5. No, I am your father is number 5 memorable quote.
Do or do not, there is no try.
Do or do not, number 6. There is no try.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you is numero uno.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
And there's 20?
There's 20 of
20
them.
quotes. It's a trap.
It's a trap is in there. That is number 7.
Let's see.
So far, you're doing well with the top 10. Chewbacca.
It's got to be on there, right? It's got to be.
It's not on there. See, right away, that's obviously not a good article.
If they don't have that one on there, we should just flush this
forget
one down the
Forget
toilet.
it. Just
Trash
going on
list.
to the next one. Yep.
Man, see now.
Okay, give me one more, and then I'll tell you the rest of them.
Okay, hold on. I got to think of I'm thinking of like.
Okay, I'll give you 2 characters, and you tell me the quote.
Okay.
Okay. Princess Leia, Han Solo.
I love you. I know.
Perfect. That's number 4.
Yeah.
All right. This one's a little tough. Obi-Wan. Hello there.
Hello there. Yeah. Okay. I should have known that. That's like a meme at this point. I should have known that.
The one that like every single person on the show has said at least once.
Oh, I have a bad feeling.
I have a bad feeling about this. Yes, very good. Let's see. That was 2. You said it's a trap already, right? Yeah, that was 7. Okay, this one is tough. It was the blind Jedi Force
Chirrut.
sensitive.
Okay, I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
Correct.
Yeah,
That is
all right,
number
yeah.
8. Very good. This one was.
Oh, how about I'm so dumb. This is the way has got to be on there, right?
This. Oh, these are from the movies.
Oh, it's from the movies. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, so this one's a little tough. This one, spoken by Jyn Erso in Rogue One. This line
Revolutions are
encapsulates-
Built on hope.
Yep, rebellions are built on hope.
Yeah.
Very good. That's number 9. Number 10, some guy. He wasn't really that big of a focal point. He wore a black costume all the time, but
I think I know who you're talking about.
he said it to everybody who was underneath him at least once. I find
your lack of faith disturbing.
Yes,
Yeah.
very good. That's number 10. This is I feel like I'm playing $10,000 Pyramid.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan says this to a bunch of stormtroopers.
Oh, you don't need to see that on vacation. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These aren't the droids you're looking for. Very good. Princess Leia says it as she's playing with R2-D2.
Oh, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Very good. Excellent.
God, I don't know how I missed this.
This one is tough because it's a little green guy. I wouldn't have gotten this one in the top 20. But a little green guy, he says, "Wars not make one great."
Oh, okay.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, that is, I remember that, but I would not have put that
No.
as a top quote. That's
No,
interesting.
because he says a bunch of other great things that I would use over that one.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I can hear him saying it, but like it's a pretty throwaway. I would have never put that
I've
in
never
the top
quoted
20.
that line.
Yeah.
I have never
Wars
quoted
not make one great?
Yeah, I have never quoted that line. I've never seen it on a T-shirt or
No.
anything. So I think we should Bantha Milk Podcast.
That's it. Wars not one make one
Wars
great.
not make one great. WEOK Radio. Okay, two former friends say this while they're on a lava planet.
Oh, you were the chosen one. You were my brother, Anakin. I loved you.
Keep going.
Hey, yo.
One's talking
you
about
were meant to...
where he's standing.
Oh, I have the high ground. That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. Very good. Han Solo says this to C-3PO.
Never tell me the odds?
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
don't know if he said it once or more
He
than
said it
once.
several times,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
okay. Princess Leia says this to Han Solo right before they kiss. She's mad at him, and she says that you are a
scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Yes, you're a stuck-up, half-witted,
Who's scruffy
scruffy-looking
Who's
nerf herder.
scruffy-looking?
Scruffy-looking. A medium-aged Anakin talks about one of the planets that he doesn't like.
It's coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere.
And it gets irritating and it gets everywhere. 17 is I don't like sand. This is a good one. From Natalie Portman says this.
This is how democracy dies. Thunderous applause.
Very good. How liberty dies.
Liberty
You're
dies,
so
I see.
close. That's good. Obi-Wan Kenobi says this one when they're looking at a map and says everything is not always as it seems, especially giant round floating objects in space that turn out to not be.
Oh, it's a moon. It's no moon.
That's
dummy.
no
Of
moon.
course.
Yes.
I missed that one.
This was one of my favorite movies of the latest trilogy.
Okay.
The 7, 8, and 9. I think it was 7. Harrison Ford says it to
That's
his
not how the Force works.
Nope, close.
Oh, okay.
He says it to his hairy counterpart when they
you're
find
cold.
no
That's
when
not a good one.
when they find the Millennium Falcon again and
We're
they come
home.
Chewie, we're home. I was
Okay.
like, yes.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't much to cheer about the latest 3, but that line
I remember
really
that
liked.
specific line from the trailer.
Yes.
Because you could see, like, at this point, everyone was picking it apart, and you could see in the background it was the
It was the
Falcon.
Millennium Falcon. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, that was number 20. Chewie, we're home. We did a good job. We could have gone on
Yeah.
Pyramid for that one.
I think so.
10 best Star Wars characters not created by George Lucas.
Oh,
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Yeah, and this is a lot of these are people that you like. Number 10, Star Killer.
Yeah.
You like him.
Yeah, he was a good one.
Number 9, Count Kestis. You like him.
Great one.
Great one. Number 8, Cassian Andor. We loved that series. It was really good. Number 7, Rey.
Yeah, I like Ray.
I liked Rey. I
don't have a problem with Ray. People have a problem with Ray. I just
don't
didn't
have
love
a problem.
the movies.
Yeah, and I just didn't like how she, instead of being Palpatine, she said, "I'm Rey Skywalker." That was
No, you're not.
dumb.
Shut up.
No, you're not. Number 6, Kylo Ren with his bad
I like
attitude.
Kylo.
I
like Adam Driver.
I love Kylo when he was on Star Wars. When he was on
SNL.
Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
That was the best Kylo ever. Yeah, but he's pretty cool, right? No.
I hear he's shredded. I hear Kylo Ren's got a 6-pack. I hear he's shredded.
I hear he's shredded. Dude, we all know you're Kylo. Number 5, Din Djarin. Number 4, Kanan Jarrus. I really like Kanan.
Yeah.
Number 3,
Chris Jr.
Revan.
Revan.
You're a
yeah.
big fan of Revan.
A lot of video game characters.
Yes. because George didn't create any of the video games.
Apparently not.
Number 2, some little guy named Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah. Or Grogu. And
Wait,
number
Kyle's
1.
Din Djarin.
Oh, Kyle's Din Djarin.
It's,
Grogu is Norman.
Norman, yeah.
Norman, yes. And number 1, you're reading the books right now.
Thrawn.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
So I'm on the second Thrawn book of the trilogy now, where it's back and forth between Vader and Anakin.
Okay.
And you're 100% right. They do make Anakin look like an idiot.
Yes.
Like, they really like... And I don't know how much I love it. I mean, I do like the book, but, like, I always kind of thought of him as, like, a pretty intelligent dude.
Yeah.
But, like, I guess it makes sense when they're juxtaposing him with Vader, because he clearly has a lot of those same tendencies as Vader as he has with Anakin. But, like, every now and then you're just like, you're dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were better than this.
I thought you were better than this. And the same thing with the Bounty Hunter Wars books that I'm reading. Prince Zizor
Right.
is his juxtaposition, I guess, would be in these books.
Right.
And the same thing, like, they get Prince Zizor to be, like, to get under Darth Vader's skin and, like, to get him angry. And not as bad as General Thrawn really makes Darth Vader look like the only thing that he has going for him is that he can use the Force on people. Other than that, he's an idiot. But they definitely make Prince Zizor a little step ahead of him as well.
Right.
And I get it. Oh, and they talk about that in the in that Vice documentary. Because we were talking about, those books, the Thrawn books and the Bounty Hunter books, all came out relatively the same time.
Right.
That's about the time that they really started. Before then, when the original 3 trilogies came out, they didn't have a lot of books to go along with it. People wanted more Star Wars. In 83, Return of the Jedi ended, and then there was nothing.
Right.
So then in 85, 86, George Lucas said, if I let people start writing books about Star Wars, then I can start producing more toys that go along with these books.
Can.
So in 85, 86, all of a sudden there's this resurgence of toys and books, and that's when all this Star Wars books start happening, is in that era. And that's why suddenly now we have all of these Star Wars books, and I guess these authors wanted to make their mark, and they made their mark by then making Darth Vader not be as cool as he was in the movies.
Sure.
So yeah. So whatever. This is, I don't want to talk about this other than the fact that we may see Mara Jade coming up soon in some time, but this article from this trash website, Inside the Magic, is just horrible clickbait website. The title is, "We may know when Brie Larson could appear as Luke Skywalker's wife in Star Wars." So they're saying she would be the perfect fit to be Mara Jade.
Why?
I don't know.
Is she redheaded? No.
No.
Is she like a Star Wars fan? Probably not.
Yeah,
Like,
so she says she's a huge Star Wars fan.
Okay.
But then you read the whole article, which I'm going through, and I'm like, I don't believe I'm actually doing this. I got to stop reading this, whatever.
They got you.
They got me. But then at the very end it says, there has never been any confirmation from Larson, Disney, or Lucasfilm about bringing Mara Jade into Star Wars. And they can't stop there. They then have to go, but at this point, it feels akin to the John Krasinski and Richard Reed situation, where the Office star became so uniquely tied to the Fantastic Four character that his appearance in Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange sequel was as surprising as it was unsurprising. And I'm like, okay, you're just covering all your bases here by saying we want her to be in it, but
and if she is in it, then we're going to take credit.
We're going to take credit for it. Yeah. So
I mean, I think they've left plenty of room for Mara Jade to be a thing.
Right.
They have unfortunately not touched Luke Skywalker. They've been very hands off with the one character everyone has wanted so much more of. But
please give us more Luke Skywalker.
No. But they would have to drastically change it, obviously, because she was introduced in the Thrawn books, the original Thrawn books,
right?
Which took an entirely different route, an entirely different there's no way you could make that same Thrawn book now because it's a completely different world. So,
yeah.
I think they, especially since we know that Luke becomes a big sad emo boy, I think there's room for that. And maybe, the Jedi Temple fell and Mara Jade was in there and Kylo killed Mara Jade and that's why Luke's a big surly boy now and flew off to be on his own. So I guess it's possible.
It's possible.
But anything's possible. It's also possible that, Fred Flintstone will make an appearance.
He could, because it was a long time ago.
In a galaxy far,
far away.
But,
why not? And, not Kanan. What's the younger kid's name?
Ezra.
Yeah, Ezra. Ezra could just run through the time things and go get Fred Flintstone and bring him back.
He's going to hop right into the world between worlds.
The world between worlds, yeah. All right, now, an hour into
that's how we get our Star Wars Hanna-Barbera crossover.
Boom, right there.
Right there.
Like, normally it's Fred Flintstone meets the Harlem Globetrotters.
Right.
But no. And Scooby-Doo? Nope.
Not
this
anymore.
is going to be Fred Flintstone meets Luke Skywalker.
We got a whole new multiverse
going on here.
Take that, put that in your pipe and smoke it, Marvel.
That's right, Marvel. You can't do anything with the Flintstones. But
Oh, wait. They own Marvel, don't they? I guess it doesn't really matter.
I guess it doesn't matter anymore. All right, so here's what I wanted to do a history of, and finally an hour into it, we're getting to it. The history of the Darksaber, as told by ChatGPT.
Oh, you had ChatGPT. See, now, why didn't I think of having ChatGPT do my work for me? I came in here feeling like, I didn't do what I needed to do.
No.
And Rob's like, it's okay. I guess I'll do my thing.
I'll just do my thing. So I did get into a little bit more details, but so ChatGPT.
What if we told ChatGPT, ChatGPT, we need a 55-minute podcast on the Darksaber?
Boom.
Would it just make it for us?
So, it did a pretty good job. It didn't give me 55 minutes, but it did give us a bunch of different things.
All
So,
right. What do you got to say, Chat?
The
Gregory
Darksaber.
Peterson Tiller? I figured that's his name.
That's his
His
name.
initials. Gregory.
So, there was a guy that I worked with at when I worked at Best Buy. His first name was Greg. I forget what his middle name was, but his last name started with D. But his middle name started with O. His initials were God.
I love it.
He's like, my initials are God. I was like, that is the most amazing thing ever.
Yep.
Your parents are geniuses.
Yep.
So anyway, the Darksaber is a unique and ancient lightsaber.
Sorry. Can you imagine him buying a house and having to initial all these things?
God.
God. You better not back out of this freaking. Oh boy.
If you back out of it, God will
Lightning.
lightning. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
All right, so
the Darksaber.
The Darksaber is a unique and ancient lightsaber that holds great cultural and historical significance within the Star Wars universe. Its history is deeply intertwined with the Mandalorians and has been passed down through generations as a symbol of leadership and power. Here's an overview of the history of the Darksaber.
Bum, bum, bum.
Number 1, creation. The Darksaber was created by Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian Jedi. I thought you were going to talk about that guy.
See, I thought about it, but then I'm like, I've mentioned him before already. I was trying to cover something different.
There you go. Thousands of years before the events of the Star Wars films, Tar Vizsla crafted the lightsaber using a unique black-colored blade, unlike the traditional lightsabers with blue or green blades. So I found that funny that ChatGPT only thinks that there's two different colored blades, blue and green. And so I put in a little bit of notes here. Around 1050 BBY, so 1050 BBY. So the Darksaber was created 1,000 years ago.
It's an old freaking object.
It's an old object, yes. Number 2, Mandalorian relic. After Tar Vizsla's death, the Darksaber becomes a cherished relic of the Mandalorian people. It was kept in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant as a symbol of the Mandalorians' affiliation with the Jedi Order. So that's what ChatGPT said. Then I went into this little website, you may have heard of it, called Wikipedia.
Heard of it once or twice.
Yes. And they said members of House Vizsla stole the saber in a conflict with the Jedi during the fall of the Old Republic. This stolen time, it was called the sacking of the Jedi Temple. The sacking of the Jedi Temple occurred during the fall of the Old Republic when the Mandalorians launched an assault on the Jedi Order. The sacking allows the members of House Vizsla to steal the Darksaber from the Jedi Temple. A little backstory there.
Love it.
The Darksaber was passed down generation to generation by the ancestors of pre-Vizsla, who held on to the weapon even after the pacifist ideals of the new Mandalorians replaced the warrior ways of Mandalore. So that's getting it all the way to pre-Vizsla. Now, we don't know much about the ancestors from Paz to pre, but it's close to 1,000 years in between there. So
you got to figure at least 3 people per 100 years, 3 generations per 100 years. It's got to be like, I don't know, 300 different people.
So there could be lots of stories about the Darksaber through all those years.
Or else maybe for like 500 of those years, it was like left in a basement somewhere and like forgot about.
They're like, oh, I put it somewhere. I don't know. We'll find it later.
What is this?
What is this? Number 3, Mandalorian Civil War. During the fall of the Old Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire, a civil war erupted on Mandalore. The Darksaber was stolen from the Jedi Temple by members of House Vizsla, who wielded it as a symbol of leadership. The Darksaber became an important artifact in the hands of House Vizsla, the ancestors of Pre-Vizsla and Bo-Katan. What's her last name? Kryze. Pre-Vizsla and Death Watch had it next. Pre-Vizsla, easy for you to say, leader of the radical Mandalorian group known as Death Watch, claimed the Darksaber as his own and used it as a symbol of his authority. Pre-Vizsla sought to restore Mandalore's warrior past and clashed with Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Jedi Order during the Clone Wars. Ultimately, Pre-Vizsla was defeated by Darth Maul, who took the Darksaber from him. So that was all during the Clone Wars animated series.
Yep.
So you can definitely check that whole thing out on the Clone Wars animated series because it was very good. And there was a whole bunch of really good Mandalorian stuff. I liked when we started to get all these extra TV shows because then we got to see more things than just that guy Luke.
Right.
You know, and it was fun, especially with the Clone Wars when they did the whole segment on the Mandalorians, and this was part of it. Darth Maul and the Shadow Collective. Following Pre-Vizsla's defeat, Darth Maul claimed the Darksaber and became the new leader of Death Watch. Maul used the Darksaber to rally various criminal organizations under his control, forming the Shadow Collective. However, Maul's rule over Mandalore was short-lived as he was ultimately overthrown by Darth Sidious, and the Darksaber was lost. Did we see that in Clone Wars?
I believe we do.
I believe we do, yes. So that's definitely something that you definitely want to watch in Clone Wars as well. Then, Bo-Katan Kryze, after the fall of Maul, the Darksaber vanished until it resurfaced in the possession of Bo-Katan Kryze, a Mandalorian warrior and leader of the Night Owls. Bo-Katan wielded the Darksaber as she sought to reunite the Mandalorian people and lead them against the Empire's occupation of Mandalore. Number 7, Sabine Wren and Kanan Jarrus. Bo-Katan eventually lost the Darksaber to the Empire, and it ended up in the hands of Gar Saxon, the Imperial Viceroy of Mandalore. However, Sabine Wren, a Mandalorian warrior and member of the Rebel Alliance, obtained the Darksaber and used it against the Empire alongside her Jedi ally, Kanan Jarrus. So that was in Rebels, which we both really like that series. It's a very good series. And did we see when we saw Gar Saxon, right? Was that was in Clone Wars, I think, still?
No, I think that was in Rebels.
That was in Rebels when we saw her lose it to Sabine Wren and Kanan Jarrus, lost it to the Empire, and it ended up in the hands of Gar Saxon. That was all in Rebels. Okay. And then in 8, we returned to Bo-Katan, recognizing the importance of the Darksaber as a symbol of leadership. Sabine Wren and Kanan Jarrus present the Darksaber to Bo-Katan Kryze, believing her to be the rightful heir and leader of Mandalore. So that was at the end of Rebels. And then that's when it starts in Mandalorian.
Having been taken from her. And she says she didn't earn it, and that's why it was taken from her.
That's why it was taken from her, yes. So in this, it says the Mandalorian, the Darksaber becomes a focal point of the story. Bo-Katan, having lost the Darksaber to Moff Gideon, seeks to reclaim it in order to reunite Mandalore and restore their homeworld. However, the Darksaber can only be won through combat, leading to a conflict between Bo-Katan and the show's protagonist, Din. It just says Din Djarin. And that's where ChatGPT ends their little synopsis of...
Apparently, ChatGPT hasn't watched the most recent season of
No,
Mandalorian.
it has not. So, that is a brief ChatGPT version of the Darksaber, and you gave us a little bit of history on one specific Mandalorian.
Yeah, Canderous Ordo is the one who I was going to... So, I talk a lot about Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, that being the predecessor to Star Wars The Old Republic. It is very confusing for people
It's
who haven't
very
played
confusing.
it. But the Knights of the Old Republic is largely considered the best Star Wars video game ever released. Last episode, I talked about one of Revan's traveling companions, Jolie Bindu. I'm sorry, who is a gray Jedi who was found on this planet. But another one of his traveling partners and companions is Canderous Ordo. Canderous was a Mandalorian of House Ordo, or Clan Ordo. And this happened, I think, 3,000 BBY. This was several thousand years before the Battle of Yavin. During the older, not the High Republic, because the High Republic is after Disney's buyout, right? But this is pre-Disney buyout. This is all Legends material. And this Canderous guy was like a Mandalorian who had fought in there were wars between the Jedi and the Mandalorians that had just happened right before kind of the end, at the beginning of this game series. And Canderous Ordo had fought in those wars on the sides of the Mandalorian, and the Mandalorians lost. But he had grown this respect for Revan, just based off of his battle tactics and his abilities as a leader and all this stuff. Now, at the beginning of the game, the character doesn't realize that he is Revan, and neither do the people around him.
Okay.
But when it's revealed that he's Revan, Canderous, like all the different party members, and you get 10 or so different party members, and each one has a different light or dark side affiliation. You do good things around the nice people and they're happy, you do bad things around the bad people and they're happy, stuff like that. And Canderous is one of the dark side dudes. He's happy when you kill people and stuff like that. But when he finds
kill that
out,
person, okay.
Right? But when he finds out you're Revan, he's like, oh, that's rad. I didn't realize I was following this rad dude. Cool, you're the man. But after the events of the game, and in the game, he obviously helps Revan. If you've never played the game, I've said it a billion times. Go play it.
Yeah.
It's still great. There's a great story to it about the whole thing is between Revan and Malak. Malak being this other Jedi that Revan and Malak were these two hotshot Jedis. Think Anakin and Obi-Wan, essentially rock stars of the universe. But they had their opinions on how they could win the war, but the Jedi Council was too slow, and Revan and Malak were screw you guys, we're going to do it this way.
We'll do it our way.
And they grew this big following and fell to the dark side. And so, your whole kind of quest is essentially figuring that out, and you're Revan, and they had wiped all your memories, and you're then kind of battling Malak. But at the end of it all, Canderous becomes Mandalore, the Mandalore.
Okay.
Which I guess is not really a thing anymore. In the new canon, they don't really call the leader of the Jedi the Mandalore.
Right. They tiptoed around it in the Mandalorian. But
there's the way, walking the way of the Mandalore and stuff like that. But it was very clear in pre-canon that the whoever was considered the leader of the people was the Mandalore.
Was the Mandalore? Yeah.
And so he became the Mandalore, and he was called. They all had nicknames and stuff. I believe he was Mandalore the. No, I'm not gonna remember at this point. Where is he?
Mandalore the George Lucas.
Exactly. Mandalore the Preserver.
Okay.
Right. He was known as Mandalore the Preserver, because again, after the war with the Jedi that decimated his people, he was able to kind of bring them back into one sort of unified fold.
Okay.
It is cool to see how they handled Mandalorians before Disney buyout and after Disney buyout.
Yeah.
But essentially, it was the same sort of, soldier mentality. Anyway, he was a character in the next Star Wars, the old Knights of the Old Republic 2 as well. But I don't think he was like a companion character. He just showed up in it.
Okay.
But yeah, Canderous Ordo. He was from
Canderous Ordo.
You first encounter him on Taris, which again is a planet that the Empire essentially destroyed. But he became Mandalore, and he continued recruiting Mandalorian clans. And he helped, again, in the next one, he helped with Darth Nihilus is the bad guy, the big bad guy in the second one.
Okay.
He's this big, scary Jedi who can, like, eat whole planets, and, like, that's, like, a weird thing to say, but it's true. He, like, ate the planet's force essence.
Interesting. There was, when one of the Star Wars movies came out, Conan O'Brien sent comic, or what's his name, the comic insult dog.
Oh, Triumph.
Triumph, the comic
comedy
insult dog.
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, and who are you supposed to be? And the guy was like, I'm Darth Nihilus. And so now I can't say that name without saying it the way that nerd guy said it. I'm Darth Nihilus. And he's like, yeah, do you still live in your mom's basement?
Oh, I gotta watch that. That's amazing.
So funny, but yeah,
I love me some Triumph. The
Oh, Triumph was great. He was great in the Star Wars screenings at the premieres of all the Star Wars movies. He was awesome.
I miss me some Conan.
Yeah,
Conan was my favorite of those.
Yeah, he was good.
Anyway,
So
next
back
time I'll
to
have
Darth
ChatGPT.
Have
do my
ChatGPT
Canderous
do your work
and
for
it'll
you.
be great.
You can do it in 5 minutes.
That's
It's
right.
really quick.
It's great.
You can just read through it and you just add a couple of things in there and you call it a day.
And then you drink your
you
Rex
drink
on the
your
beach.
Rex on the beach.
You already downed yours,
I
man.
finished
saw.
mine, dude. It was good.
You finished yours quick. You know Rob likes something if you finish it like that because Rob's not a drink drinker. He's a beer drinker.
Yeah. So and also like I have nowhere to go, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna drink the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't have to drive home.
That's right. So yeah, that's what we got on Canderous Ordo. We are gonna do a draft at some point.
At some point,
I'm sure.
Yeah, we have to set a date and get people to be here on that date, and then it'll be awesome.
In the meantime, like this was nice. Send us some drink recipes.
Yes.
Make a drink at home and say, hey, I decided to call this Jar Jar's Bumhole.
Yep.
Make it.
Perfect. Done.
And I don't want you to make us a drink called Jar Jar's Bumhole.
Please don't do
But
that.
you
No.
know what? You get the spirit of the essence. But check us out on the. We didn't even do a social medias thing today. We're all off.
Well, I talked about because you were making the drink.
I was making
you're
the
the one
drink,
that normally does all that.
Check us out on Facebook and Instagram and on Gmails and on BanthaMilkPodcast.com.
BanthaMilkPodcast.com, BanthaMilkPodcast@gmail.com. Bantha Milk Podcast
on
is it
Facebook,
on Facebook
and on
then,
Instagram,
and then there's
on TikTok.
There's a TikTok, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so when we go to Disney, when my family goes in
You got to give us
19
some
days
live
from
TikTok
now,
reporting.
Yeah, we're gonna do some live. We're gonna do some TikTok dances in front of the Millennium
Love it.
Falcon.
Love
It's
it.
gonna be amazing. So yeah, so check us out there.
But yeah, I think that's what we got.
I think so.
All right.
All right.
We learned a little about the Darksaber today.
We did.
We got to drink a nice blue drink. We
We
learned
did.
what rum chata limon is.
It sure
and we
did.
learned that despite the fact that it's summer, it's still warm enough for Rob to keep his beard.
Yo, this is going. I'm telling you.
No, man, it's still.
I
it's
haven't
good,
I
man.
haven't shaved it, and I purposely left it for this podcast to do this episode. I haven't shaved at all in like weeks, so we'll probably start by trimming it up.
Yeah.
But like even this part down here is like really long.
Yeah, you can trim that. You know,
so-
you don't have to let it keep going.
Yeah,
You
I don't know.
You don't have to shave it all off. You can take some off.
Yeah. So for those of you at home, what do you think? Should I get rid of it or should I keep it?
Tell him to keep it. His
Yeah,
face
so
scares me.
That's
Let's
gonna be
keep
our
it covered
survey.
up.
It's gonna be. I know that's
That's why
the
I
truth.
have a beard.
That's right. Yeah, got to cover this mess up.
That's
so.
right. All right, y'all. I'm going to finish this little sippy here of our drink. In the meantime, while Rob coughs, from
I
all of
cough,
us here, we need a cough button is what we need.
We do.
From all of us here at Bantha Milk Podcast headquarters, we have spoken.
We have coughed and